update 2.6, we got new really good improvements to the home building UI, and things are a lot better now. Of course, it's not perfect, but it got improved a lot and will make everything much easier for you to build, especially if you had, struggled with controller or mobile platforms as well. I'm gonna show you in this video everything that you need to know and all of the changes and everything that is new now, and also some tips to help you build a little bit easier. So starting with your inventory, it has changed slightly. So now, as you can see here, we can check the title of the item and also the load of the item that you placed with the little hand icon, which tells you if the item is still interactable or not. So I'm gonna open up the bag, which is on computer B, and I'll check everything that I have. So as usual, you can filter. Normally it comes filtered like that in stock, and it will only show you the items that you have. If you want to build with items that you don't have yet, and you want to just buy them or craft them, then you can come over here to, for example, on the bears. I only have these 4 bears. So you can come here, remove the in stock, and click filter again. Now I can build with the bears that I don't have yet. So for example, let's say I want the green bear here, and I want to decorate with this green bear. So I'm gonna decorate multiple of it. They're all stacking and snapping, as you can see. Even the furniture items can now snap slightly, which is one of the many amazing changes. And I can just decorate with them. And if I want to, at the end of the build, save the build, I just need to head over to L button, which is the locate. It's gonna tell me all of the problem decoration that I have placed. I have placed a prop that I do not own. This is a prop from the 1.7 out 5-star outfit. I do not have that outfit, so I don't have that prop. The reason why it's showing up here is that one personal tip from me is that before I start building, I always clear all the terrain and I place a prop that I do not have, because this will make me impossible to save accidentally. Because imagine if I build something new and then I accidentally save and replace my current build. So what I do is I place the prop that I don't own, so when I try to save, it doesn't let me because I have a problem decoration. So I always do that if you want that tip for you as well. But I also can see the free bears that I don't own. So if I click on the bear, I can obtain it through crafting or buying or getting the sketch or whatever I need. So again, when I start building, I click in and I click clear all, and then I place a prop that I don't have so I can prevent me from accidentally saving. And then we have the items that I don't own, so I like to build with items that I don't have and then I craft them afterwards. So I like to pre-plan my build first. So these are the very basic tips, and this always have been this way anyways. Like, you could already do that since update 1.9, so you probably knew those as well. But I just wanted to do as a quick reminder, especially because some players sometimes check me building on stream and they ask like, what the heck, how did you do that? So I just wanted to remind you of those small tips as well. But yeah, for the new stuff on the bag, you can now favorite certain items. So you can favorite up to 20 furniture items. You just need to click on the item and click on the heart. It will be pinned at the start of the tab. So if you go to the new tab that they added called all of this section, you can see your favorite items first, which is really useful. It's just a shame that it's only 20. I wish it could be a little bit more. But this tab here, all, is really helpful because now you don't need to navigate between the tabs anymore. You can just head over to the all tab and you will see everything that belongs to that type of furniture. So here's all the function. Here's all the interactive, here's all the decorative furniture, here's all the structures, and here's all the terrain and landscaping. So this is the news for the bag. You also will find that there is brushes here that you can utilize, and there is also a better explanation of the brushes, which you can check at the load button. So now the load here not only tells you the load of your islands and all of the items that you have placed already, which is this one here, but you can also click on it for the better instructions of the load. So even if you forget, it can now tell you exactly how it works. So another tip that some people may not know, so for example, let's build a wall. I'll place that, right? If I place another one, it's gonna cost half the load if you use the same type. So this wall here, if we head over to the wall types, this wall here is 105 loads. But if I place another one, it's going to be only 50 something. Because every time you use a repeated item, it only costs half the load that it usually does. So keep that in mind when you're building big builds. Like if you're doing a castle, it's good for you to use the same wall type as much as possible, because that saves you loads in the load limit. If you ever seen like some crazy builds that people do that are gigantic and you're asking yourself, how do they do that with the loads? It's because they're using a lot of the same items to reduce the load cost, and they are also avoiding the props, which are super heavy, of course. So now it got to nighttime. Let's get to the most important tip, which you may have already found, is this new button here, F9 on the computer. You can now change the time while you build. And if you click on this check mark here, it will set it as a fixed time. So I'm going to change to 10 a.m. and we're going to be building at 10 a.m. permanently now. We don't need to worry about the time of the day anymore, which is really, really good. Then we have a new button here called Edit Furniture Preset. So again, just small reminder, the Y button is for your island schemes and your group combination schemes. If you want to import an island scheme, you need to head over to this tab and then click on this button. If you want to import a combination of furniture scheme, you cannot import from here. You need to first change to the other tab and then you click on the button. Even though the button is written the same word, this button is different from this button. Okay, so the tab selection is important for you to import the codes. You also can only import codes from your server in terms of island and combination schemes. For your lookbook, it's open for whatever server. You can import every code. I imagine it's because these codes are probably heavier in data, but anyways. So Y button is for your schemes, N button is for clearing all and recovering from stock. F9 is now the time or clock button. F10 is related to the furniture preset and also to this added place settings here. We're going to talk in a second. Then we have the save button, of course, and we have the locate button. So again, small reminder, on the locate button, you can check all of the items. Always. You can track an item if you lost it, and you can also delete an item from your build or obtain it through crafting or purchasing. So for example, I don't have the green bear. I can purchase it with 7,000 astrolites, or I can craft by doing this. If I had the flower here, I can add to the tracking list and then craft the bear, or I can just purchase. It's my choice. Or if I decide that I don't need the bear anymore or the prop anymore, I can click delete all. It's gonna remove both of them. Or if I just want to remove the bear specifically, I can click on the trash here and I'll delete the problematic furniture. Now there is no bear anymore. You see the bear has disappeared. So you can manage your build. You can build with items that you don't have. You make the perfect builds, and you want to build as much as you can for now, you can simply click delete all. It's going to remove all of the items that you don't possess. Or you can just click to craft each one of them or purchase with astrolites. It's your choice. So the locate button is really, really essential at the moment that you want to find something or build your island, finally confirm your builds. In the meantime, if you're still building across multiple days, you can just head over to your schemes and then you save your scheme of whatever build you're working on until you finish it. So for tracking, you can click on this pin here in the locate button again, and it's gonna tell you on the map where exactly is that specific item. So I'm gonna look over there. You see, it's telling me that the prop is there. So always good to keep that in mind. You can just head over to the locate button again and click on the pin again and it will stop tracking. So this is also old. This was already on 1.9 as well, but the locate menu has been improved with these buttons here as well, like batch process, delete all, craft instead of just purchasing, and so on. So this still works the same, but it's improved now and it's a lot easier and you don't need to exit the build mode to do the things that you have to do. Then we have the settings there, which I'll show you in a second, and we have the floral gliding. The floral gliding has been improved. When you use the floral gliding, you can actually hide Nikki, so you can build while invisible. So I'm gonna activate here the floral gliding, which is a fusion. You need to upgrade your ability first with Posy, and after you upgrade that fusion, then you can use the floral gliding and turn Nikki off to be invisible. So I'm gonna use the floral gliding now and I'm gonna turn on invisible. As you can see, I'm now using the floral gliding. I can fly. So if I look down here, I can keep flying, but I'm invisible with my Nikki, which is really, really useful. The way to do that is by going to the settings and activating the button Hide Nikki while in floral construction. But we're going to have a look at all of that right now because this part is a little bit more complicated, but it's also the best part of all of the optimizations is the new settings. So we're going to click on the settings button and it looks really complicated. I know, don't worry about it. I'm going to change to the presets. This is how it's going to look like the first day that you open this up. This is a furniture preset. So it's a preset that Infinity Nikki is giving for you. You cannot edit this preset. This is essentially a template of custom settings for building using only your furniture. Then you will click here and you'll see that we have one for the structure and we have one for the terrain. All of these three here cannot be edited, okay? You cannot click on these buttons, right? You can't change them. They are made by Infinity Nikki for you to use as base. It's a shame that they don't let us add it. I really hope that they let us add more settings later, but if you want, you can just ignore these three and create your own. I really recommend you do that, okay? That's gonna help you a lot. As you can see here, I created 4 that are my personal ones. I'm gonna show you my personal settings if you want to copy. I have one called no collision, ground collision, all collisions, and snapping, but this is because what works for my personal workflow when I'm building in the game. So just to head over first on the 3 presets, before we go to the custom settings that I made, let me explain what each setting is and show you what's the difference between the 3 templates that they gave us. So the main difference here is the things that you can edit and the camera. So I'm gonna click the rain here. You'll see that the camera went away from Nikki in the background. So yeah, the camera is a little different, and also the things that you can edit is different. So you can see here, edit furniture, edit structure, and edit terrain. You can also see this here as well, as you can see. So I'm on the edit furniture preset. This means I cannot interact with any terrain pieces nor structural pieces. I can only interact with furniture pieces. So I'm gonna place here a bed, and I'm also gonna place here a terrain. I'll place this one here. Okay, so I have here a terrain piece, a furniture piece, and a structural piece. As you can see, I cannot click on the structure. I cannot delete or click on the terrain. I can only move the furniture items, right? And if you want to swap between them without having to swap your preset and your camera, for example, you can just click here on the edit/place. So I'm gonna activate structures and terrain. Now I can move the terrain piece. Now I can also move the wall. So you can actually just come over here and deactivate them as you want. So for example, I deactivated all of them. I can't change the bed anymore. So this is super useful for you to control your items, or for example, let's say you did all of your terraforming, all of your terrain, and you want to just build your house but not accidentally delete all of the mountains and flowers around you. You can just turn off the terrain, or you can just use the presets where you just add furniture or add structure and so on. So these are the templates, and this is the main difference. So let's talk about each one of the settings. So let's go here on the snappy one. You first have the general tab, then you have the furniture tab, then you have the structural tab. On general, you can first tell you if you want to allow the furniture selectment or placement, which is what I just showed you about selecting furniture, the structures, and terrains. So if I turn off all of them, I can't move anything. If I turn all of them on, I can move everything. This is the same thing, okay? Then we have the camera distance. I like the mid, because it's more comfortable for me, but you can go really close to Nikki. So I'm gonna save settings here. You're gonna see the difference. You see, I'm very close. Now I'm going to go back to the settings and I'm gonna change to mid. Now I'm like not super close. And now I'm gonna change to far. I don't like this one because it gives me a little bit of motion sickness. So if you're very sensitive as well, maybe keep that in mind. But this one is a really good one for placing these big mountains here. These are amazing with the big camera distance. I feel like this is ideal, really. But I can't use it much, personally. So it depends on you, really. For me, I always use the mid, and I think that it's a good level of camera distance for me for the placement. Especially when I'm using the floral gliding, which lets me be invisible. The next one is Hide Nikki in Floral Construction. So if I turn this off, and I use the floral gliding, I'm not going to be invisible anymore. If I want to be invisible, I need to head over to the settings, click on, and save. Now, when I use floral gliding again, I'm going to be invisible. Right, so keep that in mind. Then the next one, still on the general tab, is the multi-place mode. The multi-place mode allows you to place items quickly. So for example, I'm going to place this here. I already have another one selected, as you can see here, right? I don't need to open up the bag and select the wall again. No, it's automatically on my hand, easy to place, right? If I turn it off, I'm going to turn off the multi-place. And I place a wall, I don't have another in my hand anymore. I need to actually go to the bag, select walls, and then click here. Or if I saved on my quick slot, I could click from here, right? Next, we've got the adjust placement. And this is one of the absolute best improvements that will help, especially people who are on controller and on mobile. I'm gonna save the settings here. And this is, for example, if I grab the bed, I can just mouse over around and place the bed, right? And as you can see, now we have a little hand icon, I forgot to mention that, that tells you if the bed is still interactable or not. So when you approach the bed, you can lay down on it. If I resize the bed, I cannot interact with it anymore. That's why it's red now. I think they should make a crossed hand icon because not everyone can see red and green, but anyways. And if I'm placing here, I can now click here, adjust placement. This is what I just showed you on the settings there. So on computer is J. Now I'm moving my camera and nothing's happening because I'm not moving the items with my camera anymore. Yes, I know you want to cry out of happiness. So do I. So do I. You can now use your keys, be it wherever you are, to move the items. So I'm gonna move the furniture, the bed left and right by using my keys. And as you can see, it's very, very small because I put on the movement 1, which finally the movement is actually useful. It's a useful setting. I'm gonna go over that in a second. I can also move forward or back, and I can go up and down. So we now have free access control for the furnitures, terrains, and structures. Yes, finally. We finally have a proper building system. It's amazing. So this is so good, and it's really gonna help so many more people to be able to build. And I'm gonna show you now the rest of the settings that will help you customize this further. So let's open the settings tab again. So let's now check the detail settings for the furniture and structure. So I'll go over furniture here. You have the allow floating, you can turn on and off. You probably already remember that from my first building guides that I posted in 1.9. So yeah, if you turn off, you can't float your furniture anymore. So I'm gonna click off here. So now it's red because I can't place this furniture anymore, right? It's not gonna let me. It says you cannot place while hovering. So you have to head over to settings, go to furniture and turn on the floating. Now you will be able to place it midair, right? Then we have the collision settings. Collision settings is when you want to stack items. So for example, here I have no collision. So if I get one bed and I get another bed, I can make, for example, a super gigantic bed, let's say, right? I can do that. If I go into collision and I put ground collision only, that means I can place the beds only touching the grounds, right? I didn't properly show you the first time. Hold on. Let me turn off the collision again. These two here, I can put them in the ground, right? Put them in the ground like that. Now, with ground collision, I can put them stacked like this, but I can't put them underground. Then we have all collisions, and the all collisions is not gonna let you stack things. So I'm gonna place this one here, and now I can't really mix these two items together. Normally, I like no collision because I do like to make new furniture out of the furniture that I have. So for example, one thing that I do a lot was when I was building my castle, I used a lot of this wall, right? And when I wanted to place a door, it didn't really match it, right? So I'm gonna make a quick example here because that could help you with your builds. So for example, let me say I want to use this door. It doesn't really match it. So what I used to do is I would remove all the collisions and then I would put this one in front of the other. Now it's going to be a lot easier because now you can select that and use adjust placement, which is here. And then you can bring forward a little bit and then confirm. Now you have a door. This one is a little bit forward because then it doesn't clip, right? And now it matches the other walls. And now you can continue building normally, right? I used to do that a lot. But sometimes you have, for example, a table like that. Oops. And you want to place a decoration, like, for example, the plates, which are interactable. Now you want all collisions because sometimes you can just put the plate and you can't see the plate anymore, right? Like it's a little bit harder to control. What you can do is you can go to the settings and then you go to furniture. I'm going to change my camera to closer as well so you can see better. And you can put all collisions, right? Now, when I click on the plate, it's not gonna go under the table because it has a collision. So either it depends on what you're decorating at the moment. And sometimes you don't want collision at all because you want to build something like that, like a mix of items. So the collisions for me is the really important stuff because that's the one thing that I change the most. Then we've got the single movement distance and the single rotation distance. So here I'll change everything to 100. My single movement distance for furniture now is a lot higher than 1. Look what happens when I press adjust placement. I'm gonna press A once. Look how much it's moving. It's moving a lot. You see, like the distance that it's moving with every key that I press is very, very big. Now, if I press settings and I change my movement distance to 1 and I press A and D, look, I can move it very detailed. I'm moving one by one in the grid. The grid is still not visible, but the grid is still there. So you can now move one by one, like 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter. While on the 100, for example, you're moving 1 meter every time you click the button. So this is what the movement distance does. It's really useful for the adjustment placement. You may want to create templates based on that instead, if that helps you more. Like if you're mobile, for example, that may be better for you. Then you have the free axis rotation and scaling. You will need to upgrade your building ability with Posy first, but these are essentially toggles. It allows you to rotate your items and it allows you to resize your items. So if these are off, you cannot move or rotate or resize. Next we have the snapping, and now you have 3 options for the snapping: no snap at all, a weak snap, and the strong snap. So I'm gonna show you the no snap. I have the bads, and you see it doesn't snap onto the other bad, it's just there. Then you have the weak snap. As you can see here, my bed is underground, and I'll very slowly connect to the other bed. Can you see that they are both connected? But if you want to move with a higher movement, then it's gonna unsnap for you. This is the weak snap. Now for the strong snap, you see I have to move a lot more to unsnap one item from the other. And this is really cool because furniture didn't actually have snapping before. This is new. So now we can snap furniture, and we can also control the amount of snapping strength that we have as well. I personally like the weak snap a lot because it lets me snap stuff, but also easily just remove from it. I really like the weak snap personally. And lastly, we have follow rotation. And follow rotation, please just turn it off. I don't even know why this is an option. I have never found this to be useful at any point ever. So if you have the rotation here on, it means the items are going to rotate with your Nikki. So I'm gonna look right, and my bed is still facing me. Can you see that? Like the bed is still facing me, my Nikki. So I'm gonna place the bed here. You see, that's crazy. And then I'm gonna turn off the rotation and I'm gonna get another bed. Now I'm gonna move to the right, and you see the bed continues aligned with the other beds. It's not looking at Nikki now. So this is the rotate together. It means the items will rotate with your Nikki, and I don't really see the value in using that. Maybe someone out there knows what this could be used for, but for me it's extremely confusing because when you're trying to place things and you want to like everything, like you're building walls for example, and you want to align them, It's easier to rotate them like that instead of making them rotate with your Nikki. Me make a lot of mistakes on my build. So maybe if you're doing a lot of like, you know, skewed houses, it may be because of that. Then when you head over to the structures, you will find the exact same settings. All of them that we just saw here. Well, not all of them because structures don't have rotation and scaling here. But here you can see all of these settings. They work the same, but applied for the structural pieces, not for the furniture pieces. So this is a lot, I know. I really recommend you just test it out for yourself and customize to your personal liking. I'm gonna show you now the last thing here is my personal templates. So here is my no collision format. I have everything on, everything easy to customize. I have my camera really close to me. I can hide Nikki, you know, I can do everything. I don't have the autocorrect distance and I don't have the rotate together with everything. Here for the furniture, I have it with floating. Everything is no collision, so I can stack stuff. And always snap settings being weak. Then for furniture structure, sorry, same thing. So floating, but no collision and weak. As you can see here, they are all the same. The only thing that changes here is the collision settings. On the second, same thing. But I have ground collision. So how did I do that so quickly? You see it's the same settings. There is a very easy way to do it. So I set up the first one. So let's say you want to copy my settings. If you want to copy, just check here, no collision. You copy all of these toggles. You copy all of these toggles here. And you copy all of these settings here manually, right? And then you click save settings. Perfect. Now you want to make the ground collision. And you know that the only thing that you're going to change is this collision settings. What you can do is you can click on this button, import, and you can select the first one that you've done, no collision, and click confirm. What this is going to do is it's going to override each one of the settings and make it exactly the same as this one. They are both going to look exactly the same. You're just importing all of that settings from the other preset that you created. And then you can come over here, furniture, and you can change to ground settings here as well. And then you click save, and then you have the ground collision. Now you go to the all collisions, and you can import, and then you just change to all collisions here, all collisions there, click save, you have the third preset, super quick. And then the last one that I had is I can move everything freely. The collision is on no for this one, just to make it easier for me. But then the snapping, oh, it should be strong, right? I put strong snapping for this one, and then I save it just to make it easier to build. I'm going to show you here some ideas of combinations that I've done, but I will make a separate video with all of my combinations, ideas of furnitures, terrains, and more tips for like when you're actually building your project. And I'll also show you all of my different projects. I have Linglong Islands, Castle Islands, Cottagecore Islands. So I have a lot of tips for all of those. This is something that I've been saying like since 1.9 that I was going to do, but I never really had the proper time to do it. But now that we have this better build system where people on mobile and PlayStation can also build, I think it's the perfect time to share some of those. So I'll show you some of the ones that I've done myself. So for example, this little bed nook, I put my bed here with this furniture item, some shelving units. I think it looks very cozy. As you can see there, I put some vines, and this is actually also interactable. So I can lay down in the beds normally. I also have a nice window space here. I've also done things like a mix of wall with the fences to make entrances to gardens and things like that. I also like to make bunk bed sort of combinations like this with the fake stairs and floors to make a little cozy nook like that. Again, my trick of using the wall above the window as well to hide it up. If you're using a wall type that doesn't match each other, you just can use the adjust placement and move forward twice. Things like placing the fires and fireplaces first, and then you come over here, interact with them. Actually, I'm going to show you how I do this because a lot of people ask me that on the streams. So how do I do for items like the fireplace here? I'm going to place this fireplace here. It has a red hand, which shows it's not interactable anymore. So I'm going to, I'm going to resize it so it's interactable again. And then I'm going to save it, right? Now I'm going to interact it. Okay, the fire is on. Now that the fire is on, I'm gonna build again. And now I can click on the fire and resize it. So now I can place it wherever I want. And the fire will continue to be on. So for example, now it's a small and underground. Now I can just save and the fire will be on, but on the size that I wanted. So if you want to work around, like at least with the fireplaces and the lamps and these flowers here, like lots of items that you can interact with, you can just place them normally, interact with them, and then head over to build mode again and resize it to the size that you needed initially. So I always do that. I think this is a good trick. And I do that with everything. So for example, this fireplace here is huge. It's not supposed to be this size, but I just made it huge after I interacted with it once. Another thing that I really love that a lot of people do is using the props as part of the build. So for example, this is the Crimson Rhapsody prop, but I use it as a door, like curtains door, because it doesn't have collision, right? So it works as a door. And then also decorated it, so it looks nicer when I use the prop to take my photos. Another combination that I've done that I think it looks really cool, I mix and match that little fireplace that I just showed you, the campfire, with this basin that we get for free with water inside. It just looks like a cauldron. It's so perfect. I really love this. You can even like put some floating items like that to make it more witchy. You can make like, you can put the little stump here to take photos, and the light is just perfect. Nikki looks so mischievous like that. I really love it. So yeah, if you need a cauldron and you don't have that nice cauldron, you can just make one yourself. Another tip that I have is like using rugs, because they also don't have collision as a wall if you want to hide something. So for example, here's a hug. I can just cross the rug because it doesn't have collision. And here I have my coffin, kind of like in a hidden room of sorts. If you like secrets and things like that, because I personally love it, I do that a lot. I use a lot of rugs as a secret entrance. Another thing that I love doing is doing houses for Momo or secret entrances for only Momo. So if you turn into Momo size on my house, you can jump over here. There's a secret door. And this is you guys' bedroom. I made a jail for you guys because you're all a little bit unhinged. You can come over here with Momo. So again, you can make little builds like that for only shrinking size to access. And I also did escape tunnel. So this is another rug, right? It looks like a poster here, but if you cross over with Momo, you can actually escape the jail. Sorry, your bedroom. Again, with the thing about resizing, I love using that big lantern. I place it, interact with it, and then I resize it and I clip with walls and things like that. So it looks like the fish is just magically swimming around. I think this is really cool as well. Same thing for other props, like you could just place props inside the things and just like cover it up. This is actually the Red Riding Hood bed. As you can see, there is a little bit of the bed there. And I just used it here because of the tree and the bushes. So I think it just looks like really spooky and nice. Another thing that I like is to decorate the props area. So, for example, I put the dragons here on the wisteria because it looks really nice for pictures. And I actually made a tower for the whale gates over there, as you can see. I made a little tower. Another little tip that I also learned with you on my streams is that you can place the teleports upside down like that because you actually spawn from the floor. So if you float it a little bit and you put the teleport here upside down, then you can actually teleport without having all of the ugly part of the teleport, you know? And some are just a few of my little tips for building and customization. But again, I'll make a separate video with all of them or most of them or whatever I remember based on theme. And I'll share those on another video. But I just wanted to share a few here just so you have a few initial ideas. Maybe this inspires you. But yeah, I hope this video was useful. And if you have any other questions, please let me know down below. And I will either reply to you right away or I'll make a new video covering all of the questions if there are many or many similar ones. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to all of the members and patrons who support the channel and make these videos possible. And see you on the next one.
Ryan Little.
Listen.